Hello and welcome back to Amir Khan Project Management Academy. In this video, we will create schedule baseline, and later on we will also be adding the resources into our project. So in the previous video, we created the project schedule, we defined the project activities, we defined the dates and the duration, and we have also created the project critical path. So here we have the project that we already have created, and these are the dates that we have obtained based on the schedule that we already have created. So the first thing we will do before we will add the resources and some other details, the very first thing we will do is we will create the project schedule baseline based on this project schedule. So in order to define the project baseline, we'll go to the project menu, and there we have different options. So what we will do is we will click here on maintain baseline, and currently there are no baselines for our project, and we'll just click here on the add button, and we will go for the first option, save a copy of the current project as a new baseline, and click OK. So as we can see here that a new baseline has been created, B1, and these are the dates and so on. So if we click here on B1, we can also change the name of the baseline, and we can also change the baseline type. For example, is this the primary baseline or the customer baseline, but that is optional. So the main thing is that a schedule baseline has been created, and we will click close. Alright, so once we have created the project baseline, we also need to assign this baseline to the current project. So what is the baseline? Basically is that a copy of the current project with the current settings, with the current dates, current resources, expenses, whatever there is in the project. So the copy of that has been saved somewhere in the system. So what we need to do, we need to connect that copy with the current project so that the comparisons can be done. So for example, later on, if we say that this activity, which is the DFD, so the planned duration is 2 days, whereas in reality it took 4 days. So how would we know that this activity took 2 days more? Okay, so that is only possible if we can compare the current performance with the planned performance. So the planned performance is the baseline. So we have created the baseline, but now we need to connect the baseline with this current project. So for that, what we will do, we'll go to the project, and before we clicked on the maintain baseline, so that is to create a new baseline. Now we need to assign the baseline. So we'll click here on assign baseline. So this is the current project that we are working on. So with this project, which baseline we want to connect? So instead of connecting the same current project with itself, we will click on the browse, and we will select B1, which means that we want to connect B1 with the current project. So that is the main step. Other than that, we can also specify that which one is going to be the user baseline, like what is the primary, secondary, or a tertiary baseline. So again, it depends, but what we can do, instead of current baseline, we want to go for B1 as the primary baseline, which means all the comparisons for the users for each and every performance, the B1 will be used as the comparison baseline. So once we do that, we'll click OK, and now the connection has been established. And later on in the next video, once we will start the execution, so there we will see that how we can get the variances, whether it's a positive or a negative variance. So that is how we can create the baseline, and we can connect the baseline with the current project. Now, one thing which is important in project management, that whenever you make any change to the current project, you need to create a new version of the baseline. So you need to re-baseline your project. So let's try a couple of examples. So for example, let's say that we have an activity which is the final approval. So in the current baseline and in the planned documents, it says that the final approval will take 1 day to finish. But while we are still in the planning phase of the project, and we just came to know that the final approval, instead of 1 day, will take 5 days to finish because of some reasons with the management or the management style, whatever the reason is. So what we will do now, we already have the baseline, but we are making a change after we already have created the baseline. So what we will do is we will change the duration of this activity, and in order to change the duration, we can go here to the original duration column, double click, okay, and we will just put 5 here. All right, or we can go to under the duration, which is currently not visible, so we can just change here as well 5. So we can do the same using the original duration column as well, and we can see that here and in the column the duration has been changed. So once we have changed the duration, now let's do one thing. Let's add some columns here so that we can see that what information we have in the baseline. So for that, we will right click and we can see here the columns. So we'll go to columns and we will add 2 or 3 different new columns. So for that, we will go to the duration. Let's go to the dates first, and from the dates we will add the baseline start and baseline finish. Okay. So we have here BL1 start and BL1 finish. So let's see where we have these columns. All right, so we have BL1 start, so we'll add this and bring it down, and BL1 finish. Here we have BL1 finish. All right, so that is the dates as per the current baseline, and we will also add the duration, and for that we will go for BL1 duration. Okay, and if we press OK, so now we can see that the BL1 start is 11th of May and finish is 11th of May, and the duration is 1 day. This is coming from the baseline which we already have created. So remember, when we created the baseline, at that time the duration was 1 day. We changed the duration after we created the baseline. So in the baseline it is still 1 day. All right, so but now once we have made some changes, okay, with the duration, which means that we need to update this baseline. Otherwise we are comparing, or we will be comparing our performance with the old version of the baseline. So whenever we make any change, whether it's a change in the dates, duration, expense, resources, or any other type of change, so we should re-baseline the project. So how to create a new baseline? So it's the same step. So we'll go to project, again we'll go for maintain baseline, and we'll add again a new copy. So the current project will be saved as the new baseline. Click OK, and now we have a new baseline which is called B2. All right, we can rename it, but we'll leave it as it is. So B2 is the new baseline, and we will close. So now we have B2 as a baseline, but still we have connected the old version of the baseline. So B1 is still connected. So what we need to do, we need to change the connection. Instead of B1, we'll go for B2. So again, the next step is project and assign baseline. And as we can see here, it is still B1. So we'll change it to B2 and select, and here in the user baseline as well, instead of B1, we'll go for B2. All right, and once we will press OK, so you will see that the baseline information will change. So we can see here that the duration has changed, the dates have changed as per the correct information. So that is how you can re-baseline your project, and it can be done whenever you make any change. It could be done like 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. In project management, whenever you make any major change in the project plan, so you must re-baseline, whether you are in the planning phase or you are in the execution phase of the project. All right, so that is one scenario, like you made a change in the dates, so you will have to re-baseline your project. The other scenario could be that for example, currently we have not added any resources, and we have not added any expenses. So whenever we'll add any resource or expense, so at that time also we will have to re-baseline the project. So that is what we will do in the next video, because in the next video we will be talking about the budget baseline. So currently we talked about the schedule baseline. So in the next video we'll talk about the budget baseline, and in the budget baseline, once we will add the resources, there will be some expenses, so there will be some cost added up to the project because of the resources, and we will also be adding the direct expenses. So that will give us the budget of the project, and that will also give us the budget baseline. Okay, so for the next video we will wait, and then we will see how we can add the resources and the expenses, and we will finalize the project plan, and after that we will start the project execution. So thank you for watching this video.